Welcome back to Warframe. That's right. Now, this is, as you can see by the title, a little different, and this is something that I will always spell like some kind of, Soviet propaganda. The meta is bold. Can't say that word within the first minute, but you get the point. So, I'm going to pretty much just talk about, why the meta is bold. Just because this is literally a 3 a.m. idea that I had, and I thought, that'll be a fun video idea. People will enjoy it. I'll enjoy it. Let's do it. So as you can tell by my build here, one, I'm using Frost Prime, but let's be honest here, like, depending on what Warframe you use, like, Revenant's meta, Saren's meta, Octavia is able to nuke everything. That's just pretty good, but, like, no Warframe is really meta, per se, so I'm not really counting the Warframe, so I'm just playing Frost because I enjoy my Frost, and also he looks fucking badass. Yeah, I'm not really counting Warframes. If you guys want a separate video where I go on about Warframes and what makes them unique and why meta for Warframe doesn't matter for the Warframes of Warframe, I'll do that too. Just leave a comment, be like, hey, that's still technically Warframe meta, you dumbass. You feel me? But with that being said, divert back to the weapons. This is what we're going to run, right? We're going to go into a Steel Path mission. We're going to run this, and we're just going to chat about it for maybe like 10, 15, 20 minutes. I don't know. You guys know how I do. I don't really script, but I do plan on trying to edit this one up and make it a little snazzy, and do all that jazz. So let's talk about it. So we have the boss move, right? This is my build. Oh, Riven. Oh, no. Yeah, shut the fuck up. If you're going to sit here and say, oh, it doesn't count, you have a Riven, womp womp. It still technically counts, dude. It's not like Rivens are impossible to get. Just get a Riven. I don't know what to tell you here. So, that's the build for the Bosmu. I don't have this because there's really no point in the Exla slot. I mean, like, Vigilante supplies could be pretty good there, but that's mainly for that Vigilante buff. But Bosmu, Ak Magnus. I have a Riven. A Riven with 2 disposition that I'm not gonna. Oh, wait, actually, it's not bad. Well, when did they change the disposition one? Weird. But we still don't really need to use it right now, but it's decent enough. I'll use it eventually. Pennant, again, has a Riven. It's not the best Riven, not the worst Riven. Corrosive. Really, I want a stronger melee duplicate, man. Or a melee crescendo. Melee crescendo would be really dope, too. But that's what we're going to run. None of it's a meta gear. Ak Magnus is brand new. That's meta. That's meta. I'd argue that's meta. That's meta. That's meta. Incarnates are pretty much meta because if you notice, I'm not running a single Incarnate. I thought about running the Boltor Prime, and I'm like, well, that's kind of disingenuous. And then I have, like, Helios Prime on because free scans. Meta scanner. All right. All right. Running meta scanner. You got me. But we're going to run Conjunction Survival. Let's do... What's... Tatsu. I've been wanting Tatsu for a minute. Oh. Hi. This is because I forgot to call to action. So we're just going to, like, cut this in here. Hi. I hope you're enjoying. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I finished the video, so I'm pretty much saying this within 30 seconds of saying it the last time. But I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm going to tell you right now, the boss move performs a hell of a lot better than I thought. Deuces. Well, deuces from future me. You still have the rest of the video to watch. Have fun. Where's the blade? I'll work with that. So we're going to run into this. Now, this isn't going to be super edited, right? You may get some subtitles here and there to accentuate some points. Maybe. Depend. This may not be that edited. I'm not sure. But
watch out. I'm detecting void fissures
nearby.
Do you have
that's what happens with the Bosmu. Surprise, surprise. It hits red crits. Or at least my Bosmu does. Oh, that's wild. Yeah, my Bosmu hits red crits like it's nothing.
The Orican Neural Sentry is
because arcanes
Stand by for life support.
and the such, right?
You're near a fissure.
It's got blast on it, dude. Is my Bosmu stronger than my Boltor? Have I just secretly not been using the Bosmu? And I should have been? Do I need magazine warp? Is that a Nexus mod? Whatever. But as you can see, the Bosmu is not necessarily, you know,
To crack open a relic.
the peak of gaming here, right? It's not like it's the super powerful, you know, meta weapon that absolutely decimates, that everybody looks at and is like, yes, this is the perfect weapon. And in fact, the Bosmu, surprising me, actually just makes this point absolutely perfect. In the nature that this isn't a meta weapon, yet it is performing with red crits in everything I want it to do. Granted, now, let me preface this. This is because of my Frost build, which I understand. But your Frost build's doing it, Nick, or Max, or whatever the fuck you tell me in the comments, you know, whether you go by my real name or my username. It doesn't count. Why? Why doesn't it count? It's not like Frost is the only Warframe that can do this. Zephyr can do this. Most Warframes can't. Sure, it's Warframe specific, but let's not even freeze them. Let's just... Cool, I'm not really using any buffs. You know what? Let's use Nourish, because you can just universally get Nourish. Still hitting red crits. Not as common, sure, but it's hitting them. So there's your argument that it's not just because I'm playing Frost. Granted, the laser beam on the Bosmu still kind of sucks. All right, okay, it's actually not that bad, but it's definitely not that good. Not as satisfying as all those red crits. And if you want to look at my HUD and be like, oh, your red crits aren't red crits, that was an exclamation mark right there. That means my red crits are in fact red crits, whether you like it or not. Those exclamation marks means that I'm getting above, what, 300, 400 crit chance with my Frost. So, clearly... oh. That didn't sit right. So clearly there's something different going on here, right? Ac Magnus. Not necessarily meta. Now, it's not going to perform as well as my Bosmu has Blast on it, granted. However, doesn't mean that it ain't going to just, you know, sit the enemies down on their asses and fuck them up, right? Or Drockmaster's gonna steal it and ruin my presentation here. God damn, it's like somebody like screaming at you mid. Probably like my weakest weapon, somehow. Even though it's a melee, and melee is usually seen as like, haha, easy mode in Warframe. Which, frankly, it kind of is easy mode in Warframe. Sorry, not sorry, melee users. It's a lot easier to build melee weapons, especially early game. And so You'd expect my pennant to be my strongest weapon. Don't ask me why it's not. It's just not. Like, it does some of the highest single target damage, but that's on heavy attacks, which I usually only do with the niqnoqqy because of how this weapon works and how I have it built, which is why it does so little damage. Normal strikes. But... Let's go! I really want the Tatsu grind. And with that being said, it's just one of those things where, you know, you have these weapons where you feel like you need to use a specific weapon, right? Which I get it, right? It happens. And that's okay. But at the same chase, I don't want people to be watching their favorite streamer, Mr. Streamerman 4967, you know, and think, oh, well, my streamer uses meta, everyone uses meta, I guess. Because I know there are some people who think like that. I've been on this, frankly, you know, warpath against meta for so long that most of my friends who I get into Warframe, and I'm talking like personal friends, or Alex, who technically started off as a viewer but became my friend over time on some Mr. Beast type shit, but I'm really hoping that he doesn't go down the Chris Tyson route, and I don't think he will. You know what, I'm not going to say don't think, I'm going to say he won't go down that route. And when he got into Warframe, his main Warframe was Titanium, which, cool. Now, he did unfortunately go down the Warframe tier list route where he tried using meta builds, but eventually I kind of like strayed him away from it, and I'm like, hey, you know how to build things, you have the mods now for the most part, and any mods that you don't have I can give you if I have spare, because you're not taking like any of my fucking prime single use mods. Sorry, bucko. Which reminds me I need to go get Archon Flow, which I'm not. And so it just leads to this thing where it's like, yeah, he's using his own shit, you know, which I always want people to try is use your own build. I showed you the builds of my weapons. You can use them. I don't really care. But what I'd prefer is if you didn't just rip it straight from there and instead you used your own build. You use mine as a basis, and then you take it and you go, huh, what happens if I do such and such? And then you start playing with it, you know? I think that's my favorite thing about Warframe is just how diverse the player base's builds can be. Cannot wait for Boss Boom Karnan. It's not happening. It has an alt fire, so it can't happen. But God, I wish. But when it comes to it, it's like, yeah, you use these weapons that you think are meta, and some of the meta weapons just aren't fun. Straight up, right? I have the Glaive Prime 1 for completion and 2 because, you know, I decided to think, you know what, let's just use the Glaive Prime. It's pretty good. And I despise the fuck out of that weapon. I do not find it enjoyable whatsoever. It's not a fun melee to use. Granted, I'm also weird and I like using two-handed katanas, so I guess, you know, my opinion's a little bit unimportant here, to be frank, but hey, don't know what to tell you. I'm just cool like that, I guess. And you just, I want people to start using their own builds for this game, I guess. I understand wanting to use, you know, Mr. Streamer's super meta level 999. Oh, that's not good. I gotta get out of this. Mr. Streamer's level 9,999 certified Revenant one-shot Glaive Prime Lex Prime combo, right? Hey, tying back to the thumbnail with the Revenant Lex Glaive. Unless it changes. It might change. I don't know. If I need to change it, I'll change it, but yeah. You can do that. Also, Revenant's a boring fucking character. Oh my god, he's a slog to play. Right now, of course, as you can tell, my weapons are not all that good against this Acolyte. So, what am I gonna do? I'm going to pray to God that I don't die here from my stupid activities. Pray that I can get a heavy attack soon, please. Thank you. And then swap over and go kill Malice. Now, why did I do that? Because that's the only choice I had, frankly. Right? Some weapons are better against Acolytes, straight up. Right? We all know this. Some weapons are just better against certain enemies. The Tatsu, not Tatsu, the Boltor is good against it. Mazmu, I'm sorry, 2-4, huh? 2 Formas. I'll take it, but that's weird as fuck. The Bosmu's not very good against Acolytes. As you saw there, it doesn't really perform. However, against normal enemies, because of how it works, it's great at clearing out adds and higher level enemies even. When there's not a fucking ancient healer. You know, it's great at dealing with these high level enemies. Even though it's not seen as necessarily a meta weapon. Right? What I'm trying to do here is bring light to like these weird and niche weapons that you don't really see often. You don't see the Bosmu often. Granted, that also may be because it's locked behind an event. Which, yeah, I mean, I got the Bosmu back at the beginning of fucking Scarlet Spear. I have the sigils. I will show off the sigils as the vet flex. I was here for Scarlet Spear. Some other things. I also have the Void sigil. I don't remember where the hell I got that from. It's just the Scars of Arbitration sigil, but rarer. But I'm gonna meet you back at the Orbiter, and I'm going to just, you know, gush about shit. Now, let's talk about it. Bosmu clearly performed well. I have zero idea where Blast came. Oh, came from the radial attack. Interesting. I didn't know that. As you can see, worked fine, performed well. Critical delay is probably the only place on it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. With what? God knows, but ooh. Never mind. That is not worth it. Also, the -5 rate's not that bad, honestly. So, the Bosmu clearly performed. The Ak Magnus clearly performed well. The Pennant clearly performed well. Of course, they were all good in their own things, except for the Ak Magnus and the Bosmu. Technically, were just good at the same things, which is normal adds, while the Pennant was fantastic against that Acolyte. Now, let me be real specific here. My Frost build, I didn't even use Freeze Force once. What the fuck? Icy Avalanche performed wonderfully. Biting Frost performed wonderfully. This is my Frost build. I use 3 of his augment mods. Do you remember the old and eventually this is going to be replaced with Archon Flow. I'm going to go do the call mission after this, once I'm done recording and all that jazz. I'm going to go do that. And then this will be replaced with Archon Flow, because for those of you who don't know, Archon Flow, enemies have a chance, enemies killed by cold abilities have 10% chance to drop an energy orb, which is pretty good. That's it. That's free energy right there, bro. And it only costs 1 more slot when fully maxed out. But yeah, I'm gonna list off some, you know, more niche weapons that are pretty fun. And some classics that just, you know, get overlooked now, such as Kuva Thonkor. I don't see this as meta anymore. Some people may, some people may not. I personally enjoyed the Kuva Thonkor, as you can tell by it being in the top of my gear. It's a pretty good weapon. And it's got 3 formas on it. Lacernos, Mutilacernos, and Proboscis Cernos. All fantastic weapons, all in their own areas. I really like the Cernos Prime. It's a very enjoyable weapon. Mutilus Cernos, I love it. Proboscis Cernos, I don't love it as much, but it's still pretty good. The Phage. Oh my god. Oh man, the Phage. Do I still have the ribbon on it? Or did I sell it? I sold it. Damn. The Phage is fucking bonkers, dude. If you get Shotgun Vendetta on it, or really Primary Frostbite, if you have the ability to do Primary Frostbite. Oh. What's the thing? Oh, I'm gonna make a name for myself, yeah. That shit is just status city, dude. It is so fucking good. The Prisma Gracata, pretty good. The Sprothrix, pretty good. The Tenora Prime I enjoyed quite a lot. The Tenet Glaxion, everybody probably knows that's a pretty good fucking weapon, let's be honest here. The Super Brandle's pretty good. Phantasma Prime's pretty good. The Paragal impressed me. I actually quite enjoy the Paragal. Opticore Vandal, for those of you that don't know, is pretty good. The Fulman Prime is pretty good, but I also think that's technically meta because the Fulman was meta and then the Fulman Prime dropped and just became a better Fulman. So, yeah. For secondaries, now I'm going through the ones that I own just to make my life simple. Just so it's like, oh, yes, I know what these are. Zacti Prime's pretty good. Of course, the Latum's pretty good. The Compress is impressively good. The Twin Comacs are fun. The Euphona Prime is pretty good. The Aclex Prime is just the Lex Prime, so it's actually pretty good. It's just nowhere near as good as the Lex Prime because it doesn't have an Incarnon. The Spore Lacer is, of course, very good. The Furus is impressively good. The Atomos is also impressively good. The Twin Gracatas are ridiculously fun. The Tenet Detron is goofy as shit. The Contaires are probably my new favorite secondaries in the game. And the Carius Prime are pretty good, and the Catch Moon is also pretty good. As for melees, Galatine Prime is, of course, good. The Pennant, as you witnessed, was pretty good. The Reaper Prime's good. Of course, the Nagana's good. The Tenet Livia is pretty enjoyable. The Redeemer Prime is, of course, big-ass shotgun as a melee, so I'm like, come on now. What are you? An idiot sandwich? Of course it's good. Fang Prime is, of course, pretty good. Of course, the Hate's pretty good. I also like the Reapers. They're both pretty good. As you can tell, I have some time in both of them. The Destreza Prime I enjoyed. I don't want to talk about it. I don't like it. It's not fun. The Siam's pretty good as a Nikana. It's pretty enjoyable. The Harmony, from my knowledge, is apparently a meta weapon. I haven't really used enough of it to know. And I actually really enjoy the Cybear. I want to get the Incarnate for it. But I have to farm for the Incarnate for it. So I'm waiting. But I really, really enjoyed the Cybear when I used it. Please don't farm the 30,000 cryotic. Just buy it with platinum. Please. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that jazz. Right? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Where? I don't know what I'm doing. It could be the finals. It could be more V-Rising. Leave a comment. Tell me what you want to see. And we'll get to it. Deuces, boys. Have a good one.